Welcome back to the Edward Allen Walsh channel. Today, guys, I kind of just want to add on to the dwarf meta video that's already up on my channel, where I emphasize agnon and ekko. Well, now I want to show you a little new anti-Emily dwarf unbreakable heart team. You guys might be starting to see it in PvP a lot, where you see tons of unbreakable hearts on dwarves and they run Emily. So I just want to show you guys an easy way that I've found to bring down that strategy. We have taunt and double festive on our hopper. You may not have all that, but as you may know, dodge is kind of irrelevant versus a dwarf. So the difference would be, if you don't have two festives, you only get one bite on Fellhorn and not two. There is no Fellhorn in this fight, so most people probably don't have a lot of trouble with this, because you don't get retaliated against when you kill a dwarf. You can just come underneath of them, but it's still relevant. I see a lot of these teams. I thought I'd leave it in there. The strategy, though, is definitely now we've got duelists on Shade and Hoppers, so we're able to dish out a lot of rogue damage, and Fellhorn is a rogue. Thankfully, all the dwarves but Valakin can be frozen. Well, I take that back. Not all of them can be frozen, but all the relevant ones in PvP at the moment can be frozen. Anytime I feel like we can put up a 75 streak, things are worth noting. Here's a perfect example of what you see a lot of, that I myself was having trouble with. I was using Viperia to beat teams like this, but now that they have unbreakable hearts, Viperia seems so less effective. I don't know if the devs were trying to say anything by giving us a monster quest and a caster quest, because I was sure as heck got a lot of those done being able to use my Shade and Hopper. The significant changes to my Shade, though, is putting the duelists on just for the rogue damage and trying not to sack a lot of survivability by maintaining a high health on those runes. When I bring Shade and Hopper before my Fellhorn, it means I plan to kill their Fellhorn right away. No linking going on. And since they have a taunt on Valakin, you'll get to see what I mean by just assume you had no festives. You know, you don't really come out and double bite Valakin when he's taunted unless you kill this guy. So this is what a non-festive team would be doing, is you just come around and bite like this. Whereas in fights where they don't have taunt, I get to double chomp turn one. But right out of the gates, you see, this is what you're left with. Can you not survive that hit, maybe? Yeah, then maybe you might want to re-rune your team. But if my Fellhorn and full glass cannon can take that hit, then I'm confident that you guys can. Especially being how much HP your Hopper and Shade get just from wearing duelists. But I don't know how many duelists you all guys have, but I'm sure you got attack runes with HP. If they say damage pen, that's probably even better than a duelist, in all honesty, those hero runes. This here threw me a curveball, but the main idea behind why this is left in there is because I see a lot of the meta changing towards Fellhorn, Valakin, Emily +1. So the +1 here is MK. Sometimes it could be Furnos, sometimes it could be Dagrun, Theran, like Agnon, Zom. It can be many, many things. So the Shade Hopper is pretty effective, but you don't want to be so into that much dark with the MK there, and no protection versus him. So we switch out our Shade. Shade's the least effective there. We're just using Shade in the dwarf match for damage anyway. It's also worth noting, guys, don't forget that Fellhorn can be frozen for some people. You might already have ways on how you beat dwarves, or how you were beating dwarves. I'm talking about when they got a bunch of UH runes on and your way wasn't working. Fellhorn is where we pack our punch. Our hopper hits pretty hard too. Those festives had attack. They weren't really defensive based. And his skill allows him to disease quite frequent. But this is only showing you pretty much anti-Emily dwarves. The rest is already in the previous vid that's on my channel, where you can see that Agnon and Ekko pretty much wipe the floor with everything that they're allowed in. This week, myself personally, I've seen a lot of dark teams. I think a lot of people have switched into dark, and we pretty much got to win every time versus dark with our Agnon, Ekko, Furnace, Solaris. So that's kind of shaped out well for us. I'm not going to include the runes from heroes that we don't use in this short little video, but this video is mainly just because I know if I was having a little trouble with something, other people are definitely having trouble with it. So Viperia was doing great work, you know, either pairing her with Cabressa Lily or pairing her with Abby Lily, and then of course having Crex. But yeah, that's just not enough, guys. When they survive with UH runes, it's just you don't have enough after turn 1 Viperia. And then if they purge through your Viperia invincibility before she even gets to go and follow through kill her with Valakin attacks, it's not so pretty. Here we have a full dwarf team. I left this in here just to show you guys what I lost to. We were doing really great against it. I misplayed this fight huge. We could have won. But I don't suggest bringing the Shade Hopper, Fellhorn, Valakin team unless you see an Emily. It's sort of like an Emily, anti-Emily UH crap. It's not really good in a fight like this. In a fight like this, you know, you want your own Emily. They don't even have one. So I'd been up late. It was like 1 in the morning, and we were on, you know, 77 in a row. So I misplayed a good bit, took the wrong team. But you're going to see that right off the rip, this team's nothing to be messed with when it comes to taking out a dwarf team. I mean, we could have went after somebody who's not frozen, but we know that this guy retaliates anytime you kill a dwarf, so we like to get him out of there first. I like to take down the Dark Dwarf last. We don't want Valakin to have 2 turns, but we're not scared of his first turn. This guy, this is where being up late kind of misplaces. I forget that guy, the Dark Dwarf, cleanses every turn, so going for this link is a complete misplay. I should attack the Thyrand with Shade. An Epic would have put him right in the fear zone or run away to be dead right here with the Valakin. A non-Epic would have still put him low, so I did get, you know, less fortunate on how many turns my damn Felrand stayed frozen, but as you can see, if we'd have brought our own Emily, we'd have been fine. Like, Hopper was irrelevant. They didn't even have an Emily. So I feel like we misplayed pretty big, but I still had plenty of content I wanted to show you guys to add on to the dwarf meta, because dwarfs don't seem to be going anywhere until next update. So it's good that Dark gets to balance things back out. That way Assassins and Dark and Barbs and everything just kind of sits there. I don't know how high we're going to try to go this week yet, but we'll base it off the success we have. Now I'm going to let you guys see the runes. Alright guys, so now that you've seen the team in action, let's go over the runes that we use. Our fourth mods do matter on these heroes that we're using. We have now packed in damage penetration versus rogue on our shade, and that is for the HP bonus, and it's also for going after Fellhorn Dwarf. We get some serious damage with these versus him. And the reason why we want to take him out is because he'll retaliate if you try to take other dwarves out. So it's nice to be able to get him out of there with shade. I think we have 3 of them on. And then we have 1 survival rune. And then we have our turn 1 link. That's what Shade's working with currently. If you don't have the energy rune for your shade, I don't think it matters, guys. You just want your shade to have as much damage towards rogues as you can and some high attack. Move on to Hopper. I happen to have 9,000 gems in the festive runes right here, right there and right here from previously being in the shop. But this team will still work even if you don't have the festive runes. What you need though is a taunt rune. You have to have taunt up so that your enemy dwarf team can't take out your Fellhorn with their Fellhorn. So maybe you could wear some defense if you don't have taunt runes, but if I didn't have festive runes and I had the taunt rune, I would just run my Hopper with 4 attack runes and try to make these damage versus rogue. And then you got your tank just to bring the heat off of Fellhorn. So you might need enough defense to not die from that Fellhorn too, but those are the stats on Hopper. So one thing that this team needs for it to function versus the dwarves is it must have taunt somewhere. And that's to just remove the damage from your Fellhorn, and you're about to see why I say that. Fellhorn is who we have the most attack runes invested in. Meaning, first off, I want my Fellhorn to do more damage than anyone. I wanted every rune slot to just be damage. So we're working with attacks and damage. This is for killing Gortus. Sometimes Gortus can take a pretty heavy beating. And as you can see, we're all in on Glass Cannon with Fellhorn. Still not hitting 10k yet. We don't have any elites on him. But he hits very hard. That's part of the effectiveness of the team, is being able to kill like Valakin off the rip or Tusk off the rip and have your Hopper eat it. We do use Tusk, so I'll show you what Tusk's working with versus the MK team. So we just have our Tusk, skill to make sure he freezes when he freezes, or when he does his first move, and then the ability to heal back is pretty nice. We like Tusk to go long, and we have ability to steal buffs and remove buff. His stats are defense mainly. And then our Valakin. We have Valakin rune up to be able to survive. I wanted survival in as many places as I could get it. Freezing skin helps me like keep away a bunch of damage if my enemy gets frozen. We do have a healer on him. Mainly I think because we're going to make this eventually Unbreakable Heart, and we'd want him to heal back, but as is, he's doing quite well this way. We do have a Purge on there, but it's mainly for its defensive mods. And then we move Shade's Elite Life here because we put another Duelist on Shade. So our Valakin stats are pretty nice for free-to-play Valakin, I believe. He's getting 2k health back every turn. And that pretty much sums up what I wanted to add on to the 70 streak from last time. So now that you can see that, you know, I've had to make some changes. I had been using Abby and Viperia and moved a bunch of runes around, but I don't think they're necessary after you get taunt on Hopper or taunt on your Valakin, and you come out with Shade Hopper, Fellhorn Valakin, or Fellhorn first, then Shade Hopper. You kind of set that up based on the situation. Anyway, guys, now you should be caught up with what I'm doing PvP. Besides smashing everything with Agnon and Ekko, I still pretty much smash everything with Agnon and Ekko. The dark teams we use Furnace, Agnon, Ekko, Solaris. A lot of other teams, like the one I lost to in this video, so most of the time we just use Agnon, Ekko, Emily, you know, Zom or somebody. In those matchups, we don't usually take the Shade Hopper Fellhorn versus non-Emily dwarf teams. It's sort of like an anti-Emily dwarf team. But that's pretty much all I'm doing, guys. So I hope you enjoyed. If I taught you something you didn't know, hit that sub button. Thanks for watching. Peace.